Most of us think success is about hitting home runs. We study the billionaires, the star athletes, and the breakout successes, hoping to find a formula we can copy. But what if that's the very reason most of us fail? During World War II, the US military had a deadly problem. They were losing bombers faster than they could replace them. To fix it, they studied the planes that made it back, meticulously mapping every single bullet hole to figure out where to add more armor. The plan seemed obvious: reinforce the areas that were hit the most. But then a statistician named Wald took a look at the very same data and offered some shocking advice. Armor the places with no bullet holes at all. That counterintuitive idea didn't just change how the military thought about protecting its planes. It's credited with saving lives, and it reveals a hidden rule for success that the world's best performers live by. It's a rule that's not about hitting home runs, but about making sure you never, ever strike out. Wald's insight was shockingly simple. The military was only studying the planes that survived. The bullet holes on those returning bombers didn't show the aircraft's weaknesses. They showed its strengths. Those were the spots a plane could get shot and still limp back home. The true fatal weaknesses were in the spots with no bullet holes at all, because planes hit there, in the engines or the cockpit, never returned. They were the silent data, the failures that didn't make it back to be studied. This logical trap is called survivorship bias, and once you see it everywhere. We celebrate the one college dropout who becomes a billionaire, but we ignore the thousands of others who dropped out and went broke. We read books about the habits of wildly successful people, but we never hear from the thousands who had the exact same habits and whose companies went bankrupt. We are making the same mistake the military did, studying the bullet holes on the survivors and learning the wrong lessons. We're so focused on copying success that we fail to see the most important lesson of all: how to avoid catastrophic failure. The world's best performers, from elite traders to strategic thinkers, get this. They know that long-term success isn't about one lucky break. It's about survival. It's about ensuring you never get taken out of the game. And this brings us to a modern application of Wald's lesson, a simple but profound guideline known as the 1% rule.
The 1% rule is a popular risk management guideline which states you should never risk more than 1% of your total capital on a single idea. It started in the world of professional trading, but its wisdom applies to pretty much any area of life where your decisions have consequences. The rule is simple. If you have a $100,000 trading account, you never make a bet where you could lose more than $1,000. If your account is $10,000, your max loss on one trade is $100. Now, here's where a lot of people get it wrong. The 1% rule doesn't mean you can only invest 1% of your money. You could put $20,000 into a position, but you must have a predefined exit plan, what traders call a stop loss, that guarantees if you are wrong, the absolute most you can lose is your 1%, or $1,000 in this case. It sounds conservative, maybe even boring, but its power isn't in generating huge wins. It's in protecting you from the brutal, non-linear math of losing. Here's a fact that trips up almost everyone. Losses and gains aren't symmetrical. If you lose 50% of your capital, you don't just need a 50% gain to get back to even. You need a 100% gain. A 50% loss is a catastrophe, but even a smaller one can be devastating. If you lose 20%, you need a 25% gain to recover. Lose just 10%, and you need an 11.1% gain. The deeper the hole you dig, the exponentially harder it gets to climb out. The amateur focuses on the potential upside. They swing for the fences, risking 10, 20, or even 50% on a single idea they feel sure about. But one or two bad calls can cripple their account, maybe forever. They're playing Russian roulette with their future. A professional, using a guideline like the 1% rule, understands that the most important thing is staying in the game. By risking only 1% at a time, a string of 10 straight losses, which can and does happen, results in a total loss of less than 10% of their account. It's a manageable setback, not an extinction-level event. They live to fight another day. They've built a system that is mathematically resilient, designed to withstand the inevitable reality that they will be wrong, and sometimes wrong many times in a row.
But the 1% rule does something even more important than protect your capital. It protects your mind. The biggest difference between amateurs and professionals often isn't strategy, it's emotional control. And nothing destroys that control faster than a big loss. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky explored this with their research on loss aversion. Their work revealed that for most people, the psychological pain of losing is far more powerful than the pleasure of an equivalent gain. Losing $100 just feels worse than finding $100 feels good. This is wired into us. Our brains are designed for survival, and that means being intensely sensitive to threats. When you take a large loss, this deep-seated bias can kick into high gear. Fear and panic can take over. You might hold on to a losing position way too long, just praying it will come back, because making the loss official is too painful. Or you might get into revenge trading, making impulsive, high-risk bets to try and win the money back fast, digging an even deeper hole. Your decision-making ability collapses. You're no longer thinking, you're just reacting. The 1% rule is the antidote. When your maximum loss is a small, predefined, and mentally acceptable amount, the trade loses its emotional power over you. A 1% loss is an expected cost of doing business. It's a data point. It doesn't trigger a primal fear response. It lets you stay objective, stick to your plan, and evaluate your strategy with logic, not panic. Professional traders don't avoid losses. They build systems to remain calm within them. By making every loss survivable, the 1% rule can transform a roller coaster of fear and greed into a systematic, almost boring process. And in a world of chaos, boring is beautiful. Boring is profitable. This mindset shift, from hunting for wins to obsessively managing your downside, is at the core of all long-term success. It's not just about trading. And if you're finding this idea valuable, that looking at things differently is changing how you see the world, then hit that subscribe button. We explore mental models like this every week to help you think better and more effectively. The true power of this idea becomes clear when you start applying it as a metaphor beyond the financial markets. The 1% rule is a framework for making better decisions in any part of life where there's uncertainty, which is, well, all of it. Think about your career. Going all in on a single job at a single company, with no side projects, no other skills, and no network outside that role, is like having a 100% risk portfolio. You might feel secure, but you're actually incredibly fragile. A single event you can't control, a bad quarter, a new boss, a shift in strategy, can wipe you out. Applying this thinking to your career doesn't mean you can't be committed. It means building skills outside your main job, growing a professional network, maybe even developing a small second income stream. It means making sure no single event can be a career-ending blow. Or think about a business. A startup that bets its entire budget on one unproven product launch is breaking the rule. A smarter business tests multiple ideas on a small scale. It risks a tiny percentage of its resources to get data and see what works. It looks for the bullet holes on a small scale before building the whole bomber. Each small failure provides priceless data without sinking the company. Even personal decisions can be seen through this lens. Committing 100% of your free time and identity to a single hobby or relationship can leave you vulnerable if that one thing goes away. Having a portfolio of interests, friendships, and sources of fulfillment makes you more resilient to life's inevitable shocks. The core idea is to avoid making irreversible decisions with catastrophic downsides. Before making a big choice, ask the question at the heart of the 1% rule. What's the absolute most I can lose here, and can I live with it?
If the answer is no, you need to change the plan. You need to add some armor.
At the beginning, we talked about Abraham Wald and the bombers. His genius wasn't in some complex new formula, but in his ability to shift his perspective. He chose to focus on the story that wasn't being told, the story of the failures. This is the lesson our culture has programmed us to ignore. We're obsessed with success. We're sold the stories of the winners, the outliers, the lottery ticket holders, and told, be like them. But this is a trap. It makes us focus only on the upside, to chase home runs while ignoring the devastating power of striking out. The 1% rule is a quiet rebellion against this. It's a declaration that survival is more important than brilliance, that consistency is more powerful than intensity, and that the secret to winning in the long run is just making sure you never lose everything in the short run. Stop only studying the planes that made it home. Start respecting the ghosts of the ones that didn't. Ask yourself where the missing holes are in your own strategy, your career, and your life. Because success isn't just about making the right moves, it's about surviving the wrong ones. And the first rule of survival is this: never risk what you have and need for something you don't have and don't need. Never risk it all on one bet. Risk 1%, or you risk losing everything. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more and at the same time support a small independent YouTube channel, please subscribe. And if you hit that like button, we'll promise that we will work day and night to make the next video even better and with the best content that challenges you to think better. Please be careful and take care of yourself. Trading is difficult and most people lose money. This is not trading advice, only for entertainment and educational purposes. See you in the next one.